Oh, Ted, welcome. Glad you could make it. Who's going to let the makeup person in, though, if you're here?
Do I look okay with my glasses on?
You look beautiful.
Okay.
Perfect.
Do I look made up?
Yeah, you look healthy.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good. You ready to do this?
You're listening to Conversations in Bed with me, Joleene DeRosier.
And me, Ken Case.
This is the freshest, funnest, most fantastical podcast out there that supports healthy, polarized relationships that takes place right in our bed. Don't go anywhere. We're about to give you the goods on love, life, and leaning into truly powerful relationships right now.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Conversations in Bed. I'm Joleene DeRosier.
And I'm Ken Case.
And I love it when you say that. Today, we're talking about manifestation, which is kind of a big deal for you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for other people, and some people believe in it and some people don't. We're not here to convince everybody.
Right. The ironic thing is, whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it, it's happening.
It's totally happening.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
We hope to prove a little bit of that your thoughts really control your actions today. So,
yeah. And talking about how manifestation is really, it's about your thoughts. It's about energy and our experiences with it, separate as two separate people. I want to talk about how I believe I manifested you, and I have the proof in this book right here. So I'm going to go through some journaling I did. And so we're going to talk about how it works, why it works, and how it can work for anyone who is open and is listening and can hear the sound of our voice right now.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. Open is the key.
Yeah, totally.
Open is the key.
So 2 questions for you.
Fire away.
First is, what is in your mug?
In my mug today, drinking the Recess coffee, which is local to the Syracuse area, Syracuse, New York. I believe they started around 2007. We're drinking the Westcott blend, which is delicious. Their first store is located in the Westcott area. For those of you from the area, synonymous with Syracuse University, the Westcott area, all the students are up there. I'm sure they all love Recess coffee. And it is a delicious, delicious blend from Syracuse. Yeah, local blend. And they source all their beans from places that really look into sustainability. So
Nice.
their farms and everything. So yeah, they're culturally conscious as well as brew some really good coffee.
Have you been to the store up in Westcott?
I have up in Westcott in my days driving around the town in an ambulance. Yes, I have.
So I attempted to, when I was an entrepreneur before, and then I went back into TV production, but my first 10 years in it, I would bounce from cafe to cafe or bookstore to bookstore so I could work not just in my home if I got restless. And I decided to go there one time and I couldn't get a seat.
Yeah.
And there were so many people, students and professionals in these little booths. And it was a great vibe though.
Yeah.
Truly. And I didn't even know what to order. I just knew this coffee was a big deal and everybody was talking about it. So I was like, I tried to make it look like I belonged, and I don't know how I did with that, but it was good coffee. So I'm glad we brought it here today.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
So we like to start these out with a question that neither of us are prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for you is, what is something you would like to work on manifesting right now in your life?
That's a great question. There are so many things. I mean, we all want to manifest a great life, right? We want to manifest a great relationship. Of course, being able to, survive in abundance. But what is something that I would love to manifest right now? Boy, I would love to be able to manifest. This is more of a thing for, I guess, a mission, which would be just being out to help people realize what we've come to know and come to understand. So I guess being able to have a platform to be able to go out and reach the masses and get what we've learned. So I guess that this is the beginning of it, right?
Yeah.
This is podcast number 5, and hopefully we're growing and growing and growing, and we want this to just explode. So yeah, manifesting that would be key. Mm-hmm. And that'll lead to everything else. I mean, so yeah, that's it. That's
Cool.
what I would love to do. And I'm going to throw it back at you. What would you like to manifest? Something you would like to really manifest?
Well, you and I talk about this all the time, so you might not be too surprised by my answer. But I think it's the same. It's to create something on a platform where our voices are heard to serve the greater good. And I know everything will come thereafter. But I've always wanted to do, so here's what I want to manifest. I've always wanted acreage, massive acreage with barns, and I can see it in my head that are L-shaped, but it's for dogs and cats for rescues, and not just any rescues, for senior dogs and disabled dogs and cats. I'm not forgetting you guys. I'm super sorry. But where they can just run. And I've seen this on the internet, and I've seen where local schools actually take their track teams to these farms, people who have these kinds of places. And it's a nonprofit. And they just run the trails, and the dogs can run with them. So a big, giant rescue center that we can sustain. Of course, we would love donations and people to help us, but where money is not an object, money is no issue. And you fly to pick some of these dogs up in places and bring them.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. I actually have a friend who's a pilot with a major airline who he has actually
Really?
a rescue where he flies and he rescues dogs and brings them to other locations on his own dime.
Who is he?
Yeah, Brian August. Yep, and he's a pilot with a major airline, been there forever. Used to be a paramedic that worked for me. Actually, I literally saw him yesterday because he lives out of town because he lives at his base where for the airline that he flies at, and he comes up to Syracuse and works as a paramedic still with us on occasion. And he literally walked in my office yesterday and we got talking about some stuff. But yeah, he does. That's one of the things that he does is he goes and rescues doggies and brings them around. So that would be great. That'd be great to be able to use, skills that I've learned and put them to good use, as well as being able to serve the greater good.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I want to manifest.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get moving on manifesting then.
All right, let's get there. Let's manifest it.
Let's talk about it. And I want to start with, I get a lot of people think it's BS. I'll do a video and I'll post a video on social media. And some, for the most part, followers, we're all the same. They understand the energy. They agree with it. They've tried it. And some have questions and some don't believe in it. And again, I'm not here to twist anybody's arm. But part of this podcast is to share our experiences and what we believe. And I genuinely believe in manifesting. There's so many stories I can share, down to the dog that's laying right here in front of you. This is the second dachshund I've had, and I truly believe that I manifested him. I believe I manifested you, my job, where I am now with work, which is independent, the apartment that I'm sitting in, everything, when I look back, has come to me because I thought it into an existence, and not just sitting there going, send me $1 million, send me $1 million, send me $1 million in journal. When people ask about manifestation, they want a quick fixed answer with instant gratification, and it doesn't work that way. It is literally your thoughts and your processes. And how many times have I been kind of concerned about something and you'll be like, baby, you got to change your mindset. You got to change the way you're thinking.
Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to, right? When you start looking at manifestation, and it's so interesting you say that people want a quick fix and they want to, I'm going to start this today and tomorrow it's going to show up. And that's not how it works. You never know when it's going to show up, but you have to keep working towards it. And you have to get that mindset really, and just keep doing it and just have that attitude of gratitude and keep it going. Mm-hmm. And that's really where it comes from, and just being thankful and thanking everything and thanking the universe, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in, that higher power, and it's going to come to you. And it, thoughts become things, right? And this is nothing. We're not making up. This isn't any of us. This is all stuff that's out there. We've just practiced it. And I literally started back in the early 90s. I was first introduced to it. I won't say that I was practicing it, but I got intrigued by it, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But getting into it and just the process of manifesting, and what does it really mean? I was one of those that, is it really true? Is it really, everything is energy and everything is connected? I thoroughly believe that. It's true. As far as I'm concerned, it's true. So just believing that. But at one point I was even if I was a little skeptical, I was thinking, but even if it just puts you in the right mindset to go get what you want, and that's what people are saying. Well, it's not really manifestation. You're just doing the work and you're getting in the right mindset. Well, isn't that manifestation? I mean, isn't that really getting the same results? So it's not really, believing in one way or another. It's just, it works. Thoughts become things. If you can see it here, you can hold it here. I mean, all those sayings, it's really true. And we have examples of that. I mean, we both have small examples and some bigger ones.
What does Michael Beckwith say?
Oh yeah, so Michael Bernard Beckwith, love Michael Bernard Beckwith, right? Got introduced to him, as many people did, in The Secret, right? But then I started following him more closely and looking at his teachings and his thought process and everything, and was watching Oprah one time. It was one of her Super Soul sessions where he does a segment. It's about a 25 minute segment on manifesting and participating in your unfolding is the title of it, right? And he talks about the different steps of unfolding and how, it's not a bystander sport. You have to be an active participant in your unfolding. And he lays out, from one step to the next step to the next step and going across it. But when you get down to the end of it, really what it comes down to, okay, hold tight. I have to say it fast or else I can't say it, right? So let me see if I can get this right. Once you start to believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then what you do see, you won't see, and what you don't see, you will see, right? So, and you can break that down, just slow that down, back it up, and the whole 9 yards. Basically, the way I'm interpreting that is there are blocks that are put in front of us, right? And there are things that are blocking what we want to get to. So if I'm always looking at that block, so once I believe more in what I don't see, so what's beyond that, whatever may be blocking me, get rid of that block. I don't see that block anymore. I can now see what I don't see, right? That thing that I want to manifest. Now I can see it. So once you believe more in what you don't see than what you do see, then what you do see, you won't see, and what you don't see, you will see.
And if that's confusing, I made you repeat that back to me several times.
Yeah.
Slow down and keep rewind and listen because it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. You have to really break it down and look at it. But that's what it's all about. It's looking beyond and believing beyond, and not just having that wall in front of you that's stopping you from getting to that next level, from getting to that next thing.
You're listening to Conversations in Bed with Joleene DeRosier
and Ken Case.
If you'd like to sponsor our podcast with a specialty coffee, t-shirts, or your business or product, drop us an email. The email is in show notes.
Yep, we'll drink the coffee, share its origin, and insert your product or business right here in the middle of our podcast.
Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Now back to the goods.
And there's so many things that go into it, having that attitude of gratitude and just believing beyond belief, and treating something that you want to manifest into your life, treating it as if you already have it. Mm-hmm. It's already there. Because truth be told, everything that we want is already here, right? Stuff just doesn't appear out of thin air. It's already there with your name on it. You just have to go get it. And that's where the work comes in.
Abraham Hicks says it's in the vortex. And I imagine the vortex as this bubble, like a conversation bubble above my head. So for example, when it comes to, everybody talks about manifesting money or love. Those are like the priority things. Mm-hmm. And to your point, there's no shortage of it for a particular group of people. Everybody has access to it. Mm-hmm. And it's worth testing. All of this is worth testing. So I'm just going to use my dog for an example, not this dog that's present here, but Win is my second dachshund, and my first dachshund, his name was Bosley. And my daughter, when she was little, had this little stuffed animal dog that had a name tag. And I wrote on it, and I wrote Bosley. I just like the name Bosley. And what ended up happening from thereafter is I put that out there, and then different things started to show up with dachshunds, reminding me of dachshunds. And then the opportunity came for me to actually adopt a dog, a little black and tan, just like Win here. And I had forgotten about the name tag. I had forgotten about the dog. And when someone said, what would you name the dog? I said, Bosley. And I had the dachshund. Now, also to your point about taking action, is people will question and say, well, if you want something, don't you just take action to do it? Certainly. But what is that action doing? It's opening the energy further. And then other pieces related to what you want fall into place. Just the other day, when we were meditating, I was manifesting in my meditation, and I was thanking the universe for things that were already there. And one of them was abundance. Money, 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 abundance. And this may seem small, but it's celebrating these small things. Excuse me. Went to the mailbox, had something in my hand, opened it, and it was a check for $11.14. But I laughed out loud and I said, thank you, because it was unexpected. It was from something I had done a long time ago and came back to me. But it's celebrating that energy and being grateful for it. And then what I say is, thank you so much. I appreciate this or something better.
I think it's great what you say. Celebrating the little things really helps bring on those bigger things. I didn't even tell you this story. This literally happened just the other day. So I had to take my mother to the hospital for some testing, and she's a little frail and has a hard time walking, right? So as we're going through the parking garage, I told her, I said, Mom, I'm going to get us as close to the door, because I'm familiar with the hospital. I'm going to get us as close to the door in the bridge that goes from the parking garage to the hospital. I'm going to get us as close to the door as possible. I'll get a wheelchair as soon as we find one. But if we can get to the door, close to the door, and this is a massive parking garage. And I kid you not, right? I'm thinking to myself in my head, I need a parking spot there. This place is full. Right? I literally turn around the corner to the third floor. Now, the footbridge from the parking garage to the hospital is on the third floor, right? So I literally turn going up the ramp to the third floor, and the door literally is just up the way up the ramp. A car's headlights turn on. I stop. They pull out, and I'm like, there you go. Our parking spot is literally 20 feet from the door. So again, people are going to say you're crazy, whatever. But it's just nothing is coincidence. I had that thought, and they say the more you practice manifestation, the easier it gets. So you have these little things like your $11 check, like the parking spot. And that is just going to bring you to those next steps and to get the things.
And boost that energy.
Yeah. So it was like chills. Literally, when I saw those headlights turn on, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Your frequency went out, and that's what pulls in more. So I worked at Barnes & Noble for a while. I loved that job. It was a little part-time job in between films. I worked on film sets too. And they had this drink, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was half and half and strawberry. It was just pure fat, sweet goodness. And there was a cafe in the bookstore I worked in. The cafe was way over on the other side. And I wanted one. And if the cafe made mistakes, we got to drink those mistakes as employees, right? And I think in one day, I wish I could remember them all, but I had 3 things manifest immediately, and this was one of them. I was at the center customer service thing. The cafe was super busy, again, way over. Nobody can hear me. And I'm using a normal voice, and I said, I think when lunch break comes, I'm going to order one of those strawberry cream drinks. And I kid you not, 30 to 40 seconds later, one of the baristas put one down right next to me and said, I made a mistake. Does anybody want this? And I was like, no, no way. And my gratitude and joy and appreciation for it, that's the energy that comes up. And the universe goes, you want more? I'll give you more. And I think the other interaction was with a customer. And that interaction ended up being, because at the time I was coaching, ended up being a client. So I had that interaction happen. So just to clarify for non-believers, and it's okay, again, we're here to spread our information and our joy. You can receive it, play with it, but it's all energy. And when people want to get too scientific and too nitty-gritty, they'll say, well, Ken, come on. You came around the corner thinking about this parking spot and dude just happened to pull out. Okay, you can have that belief. But this is what we're going to adhere to.
Yeah. And that's not the first time that's happened either, with a parking spot. And again, I know it seems small, it seems silly, but it's true. You just made a great statement where you said what you put out there, the universe is going to give you what you put out there. It works both ways. And the universe doesn't know if you're putting out the positive or the negative. So if you think to yourself, oh my God, it's another bill in the mail. It's another bill. And that's the energy that you're putting out there. Guess what? The universe is going to say, "Ooh, they like that. Boom, give them more, give them more." And what keeps coming? Bills, bills, bills. So you have to, just like a radio station, you have to change the frequency, right? That's how all this works, is on frequency. And you put out a certain vibration, and wherever that vibration is what it's going to be. So if you don't like what's happening, just like a radio station, change the frequency, change the channel, think something different. I was just listening to Deepak Chopra, recently last week or whatever it was. And he says, if you don't like a thought that you're having, or you don't like something that's happening, think the opposite. What's the opposite of what you're thinking? And that will change what's going on. So you're exactly right. The universe doesn't know if it's good or bad. It just knows that's what you're putting out. It knows that frequency, and that's what it responds to, gives you more of that frequency. So great point. Great point.
So it's all energy.
It's all energy. It's all energy. It's all energy that's out there, and it's the vibrations, and everything is connected. Everything is connected.
Are you familiar with Neville Goddard?
I am not.
Okay, so I started reading like when The Secret came out. So that to me was the catalyst. Was that movie, The Secret?
Yeah. For how many people?
Oh my gosh, right? And I think the issue with it was that, because I thought it was well produced, and that was Rhonda Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
And the video, if you watch the movie, which we should pull it out just for the hell of it and watch it one of these times. But it's basically, and it has all the thought leaders in this particular movie, which I think is really powerful. They say if you manifest a cup of coffee, all of a sudden it's there. And I think because it became so commercial, a lot of people took it too literal and expected them to sit in their bed when they're by themselves and a cup of coffee just appears on the counter. And it created a lot of negative conversation around it, which still happens today when people talk about manifestation. But this thought process goes back decades, hundreds and hundreds of years, actually. If you look into spiritual teachings, there are elements of manifestation without actually using that word. Neville Goddard wrote a book called Feeling is the Secret in 1944. And he was a spiritual teacher who taught that our thoughts and our imaginations have the power to create our reality. Let me say that again, to your point. Our thoughts and our imagination have the power to create our own reality. You know how we talk about quantum physics?
Mm-hmm.
How many times, and if you want to Google this and read up on it, athletes will be hooked up to machines and their brain waves are being tracked because they will actually imagine running the race, and all the muscles and all the energy and all their brain waves will fire off as if they're running that race, and they're not even present in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's their thoughts and it's their imagination. And he said, Neville Goddard, whenever you are in the state of mind, I should like to, but I cannot. The harder you try, the less you are able to yield the wish. You never attract that which you want, but always attract that which you are conscious of being, which is exactly what you just said. If you're like, bills, I'm broke, I'm poor, you're going to get more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes.
Yep. Yeah. It's powerful stuff. Using the mind, using your mind, your thoughts really influence everything around you. And it comes down to the science behind it. That's really what it comes down to.
Let's talk about two things.
Okay.
I want to talk about and share, put my coffee down over here. I write a lot in journal. I used to journal more than I need to journal more than I do now. But I had a very strong desire to attract someone into my life that was worthy of me and that was good and was all of the things. And I know there, again, there's some criticism around this because there is no such thing as perfection, but there are good people in the world. And it was my turn to have a good person in my life. So I journaled about it. Now, this is, okay, let me flip to this. Here I am talking to the universe. This journal is me talking to the universe, down to the perfect business model. I don't know if I ever showed you all of this.
No.
But this was in July of 2023. So it's me journaling the things that I want, but not writing it as if I didn't have it, writing it as if I already had it. And so I wrote down the perfect business, and on video, I'm holding up my journal, but the perfect business had ease and flow. And I also wrote down the perfect companion. And in the perfect companion, I'm going to read what I wrote. And this was when in July 2023, and we met in September of 2023.
Yep.
But you have been watching me on TikTok in July of 2023.
Yep.
So here is who my perfect person is. I did write tall with dark hair with some gray. Ken is not tall.
It's a state of mind.
But you do have dark hair with this beautiful, beautiful gray. I wrote down masculine leader. You are. Very physically active. You are. You bounce around a lot. I wrote extremely wealthy. I don't know if you're wealthy, but you certainly...
Again, wealth is a state of mind.
Wealth is a state of mind. You don't blink. You don't flinch.
We don't want for anything.
We don't want for anything.
So we're fortunate. Yep.
You're humble. I wrote down humble. I wrote down funny as hell. I laugh with you constantly. Beautiful, well-kept home. You do have that. You're loyal to me. You think I'm beautiful. You tell me 27,000 times a day. Takes initiative, which you do. Spontaneous with travel and adventure. Confident, sexy, excellent kisser. Hears me, listens, cooks meals, and I left some personal stuff out. But when you came into my life, and you were in my life month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, I pulled this out in month 4 and I was like, oh my God, I manifested the man that I wanted. I manifested the love that I wanted. And I'm still in awe of this. I'm in absolute awe of this. Oh, and here's more. There is space in my life for this person. That's what I wrote down. And I was told by Larissa, the goddess of numerology on TikTok. So here's her handle right here on screen. And it's in the show notes if you're interested. She told me I would be in a committed relationship by March of 2024. It is April of 2024 as we tape this. I know it'll go out later. And you and I are in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
So that's part of the manifestation. I wrote it down. Friends, just write down the want, write down the desire. I would drive to work daily. Didn't even know you. Thanking the universe for my person. And I felt so, I would actually say, I can't wait to meet him. I cannot wait to meet him. And I had such conviction and passion about it. And again, never knew you, didn't know your name, didn't know your face. And within a few short months, you showed up.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. And again, we talked about it before. We really don't believe in coincidence, right? So whatever we're putting out there and whatever we're doing with our thoughts, really, I know I've said that 15 times in this podcast. It's going to get old, right? But that really, truthfully, it can be that simple, but it's work. It really takes conviction.
What kind of work?
Work on yourself, work on believing, work on having an open mind. I mean, that's really where it starts, is just being open to accepting the possibility that this exists, that you're able to do that. And take just the littlest, if you've had something that has happened to you, just take that and go with it.
What do you mean?
You know, well, if you, let's not call it manifestation, but if you have thought about wanting something and all of a sudden that came, not you per se, but the people that are listening, take that and go with it and expand on that. The work also is looking and studying the masters. I have a few names, right, that I really enjoy. Michael Bernard Beckwith and Deepak. And there's some others. You are very well studied. You have books, and you've done that work also. So just looking at it and being open to accepting it. Like I said, this whole thing really started for me back in, the concept I think started back in the early 90s, right? In 1993.
Look at you.
The only reason I know that is because I don't know if we're going to do this little demonstration of how.
Why not?
Of how your thoughts really control the outside world around you. I just looked this up, happened to find the clip on YouTube because I remembered this happening and I remember doing it. It ends up, it was in 1993. I was watching Oprah, right? Because I worked 4 days on, 4 days off. And so I was watching Oprah one time, and Deepak Chopra, who I was not familiar with, he was on and he was talking about this stuff about Western medicine meeting Eastern religion, and how he does the whole mind body, interaction, and how everything can influence everything else, how you can heal yourself through these actions, your body replaces itself every so often. The cells, you just regenerate, really is what we're doing. So you can influence some of that. And he did this demonstration on there with a simple pendulum, and it's just simply the pendulum, a weight on the end of a string, and you hold it in between your fingers and you hold it still, and you just think, swing this weight, back and forth. And then you think, move it in a circle. And I'm like, is this black magic? Because Oprah actually did it. He was talking her through it, and she did it. So I, being skeptical, I'm like, I'm gonna give this a shot. Went and locked myself in a room so nobody could see me because I didn't want them to think I was crazy. And I swear to you, any one of you can try this and do it and tell me if it doesn't work. It just shows the connection, that everything is connected at the cellular level.
Let's do it.
All of our energy. You want to do it?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to do it.
Wind can stay.
Wind can stay as long as she doesn't mind this board.
My dog
board being here.
So
I can talk through it, but I don't want to talk through it only because I don't want people to think that I'm manipulating with my hands.
Right.
So that's why I pulled this board up.
Okay.
So I can keep it as still as possible. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to think to myself, and you can narrate actually while this is going on. I'm going to think to myself, swing, left to right, or swing back and forth. And then I'm going to think, swing in a circle, right? And you'll physically see it starting to swing in a circle. And then I can think, stop. And it takes a little bit of time, right? Because it's a pendulum. It's got momentum. But, all right, I'm going to do this. And any one of you can do this. Just grab a piece of string, put a couple washers on the end of it. I have a swag hook from a recent lamp that I hung. Had an extra one. So that's what we threw on it. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and do this.
Okay.
I can see.
Just let it be still.
Yeah,
I'll narrate it for the audio version of this. So.
Yep.
Okay. So it's still.
Yep, let me get it still. I just hit it. Okay.
And you can wait until it stops itself.
Well, here, I'll just think, swing back and forth. I can narrate. I can talk while doing it, right? So there we go, swinging back and forth. Now in a circle. And these are my thoughts. I'm thinking, swing in a circle. Let me see if I can get it going just front to back.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Now let's go side to side again.
Yep, there it is.
Let me see if I can stop it, if I got enough to put the brakes on. People, I'm telling you, Take it, go do it. It's the most mind-blowing thing you've ever done. And that is simply at the cellular level, the energy that is going from my thoughts, and it's going through everything in my body, and it's going down here, and it's going to the way, and it's just, that's how your thoughts influence everything around you, influence everything around you in the outside world. There you go.
This is why I gotta say, I think it's so important that when you're in a sour mood, I don't mean Ken Case is in a sour mood, why the power of being kind can shift you and the other people around you, because it's energy. So like I have been in the worst mood sometimes, just in my head, a lot going wrong, a lot going, issues, whatever. I'm thinking the world has ended. And I will go into a grocery store, turn a corner, inadvertently bump into somebody and smile and say, I'm so sorry. And they will say, no worries. And it lifts it just a little bit. It lifts me. It's like, so not even the manifestation part, if we just remove that element and we stay with energy, it shifts everything. And that's the power. You just showed it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And try it. I'm telling you, try it and tell me if I'm lying. It's that I manipulated nothing except with what I was thinking.
So now we've given them something to try physically.
Yep.
How about something that for anyone who's skeptical or, there's a lot of people that say, I've tried and it doesn't work. I've tried and it doesn't work. And my belief is that's because you keep thinking of why it didn't work and what's the energy that's going out. This isn't going to work. And it really is a practice. It's like anything that you want to put into action, you have to practice it. And then you have to decide it's actual. You have to realize, again, and even if you don't believe it, it's happening. Look at the law of assumption. Look at the law of attraction. Make the decision today to start reading, to understand it, to see that here you've got nothing to lose.
Right, exactly.
That's really...
And everything to gain.
Yep. Even if it's something that starts super small, down to like the cup of coffee, and see what happens. And maybe it doesn't happen right away. What is it they say that I have a friend in New York who always says, if you want to test it, just say, I'm looking for a blue butterfly. Show me a blue butterfly. I want to see a blue butterfly. And then just let it go. And then inevitably, within a short period of time, we walked past a building and there was a blue butterfly. I chose that butterfly. I'm not from New York. I had no idea when we walked around the corner that I would see a blue butterfly. Played with it all day. Now I want to see a red heart, and big glowy red heart. And that was a few hours later, but it's like, your thoughts become things. And even if you don't believe it, just play with it. Your life will improve infinitely because you're just making a conscious choice to live differently.
Yep. And if in your mind, that's what it really comes down to, is it's just that you chose to live differently, then it has accomplished its goal, right?
Yeah,
It's doesn't matter if you believe or what, but yeah, it's crazy. It really does. It really does work. It really does.
Is there anything you want to add? A point you want to make? Something we should have talked about and we didn't?
Boy, there's so much. So many great things with manifestation that come about. I think that's a great place to start. I think that's a great basis. You really have to change it really is your thought process, your attitude. Yeah, again, attitude of gratitude, right? Get up every morning, and no matter what kind of mood you're in or whatever it may be, just be thankful for something. Be thankful. Say it's going to be a great day. I had a great day yesterday. Be thankful for something. Be thankful for be thankful that you're getting out of a warm bed, and if for whatever reason that morning, if you're having a bad day or something is going on, and the old saying, I got up on the wrong side of the bed, you have the power to get back in bed and get up on the other side.
Oh, wow.
So just do it. Change that frequency by just doing that. If it's just that little physical movement that does it, then do it. And it'll change the frequency, change the radio station.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the place to start. And It's a practice. It takes time, but boy, you'll start to see the results, and then it just flows. Then it just flows and keeps going.
I love ease and flow. Beautiful feminine energy, ease and flow.
Yeah.
All right,
Great
awesome.
talk. Great talk.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Mr. God. What are we talking about next time?
Tolerance versus acceptance. Yeah. Yeah. Boy, and that can be so, we can go in so many different ways. But yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
That'll be
Tolerance
fun.
versus acceptance, meaning what are you willing to tolerate in relationships of any kind? Romantic relationships, friendships, your family, and what are you willing to accept? And there is a vast difference. There's a big difference, and it will help you define, I believe, whether or not those relationships are worthwhile. And this is a topic I'm super, super passionate about. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, that'll be great.
All right.
Yep.
All right, my love.
All right.
I'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.